right, let's call to order the Monday, February 19th meeting of the Historic Preservation Commission. Kelly, would you please read the roll?
Patrick Boyd.
Here.
Gene Hackbarth.
Here.
Alderperson Hansen.
Here.
Mike Reinhardt.
Here.
Jane Schuler.
Here.
Adam Turturra.
And Adam is excused. Item 2, approval of the minutes of the December 18th, 2023 Historic Preservation Commission meeting.
I make a motion to approve.
I'll second that, Patrick.
We have a motion by Patrick, seconded by Gene, to approve the minutes of the December 18th meeting. Any questions, comments, corrections? If not, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Aye.
Oh, sorry, Jane. Motion carries. Thank you. Item 3, public comments upon matters not on the agenda. Please note that comments made during the public comment period shall pertain only to matters under the jurisdiction of the Historic Preservation Commission. Is there anybody in the public who would like to speak on something not on the agenda? Oh, Peter, if you want to jump in here.
Sure. I just wanted to let the HPC know that per Gene's request, we have reached out to the Wisconsin Historical Society to have Jason Tisch come and give us a guest conversation, I should say, at the June 17th Historic Preservation Commission meeting. I think those of us who are new on the committee will find this beneficial, and those of us who have been here for a while might find it as a great refresher. Kind of explains to us, you know, what we are about as a Historic Preservation Commission and things that we have opportunities to do as an HPC. One thing I do want to bring to your attention is because he is going to come as a guest speaker from a long distance, we are going to start that meeting at 5 p.m. instead of the typical 6 p.m. If you could pencil that into your calendars.
That'd be great.
Okay.
Thank you.
And I would just want to point out that it would be extremely beneficial for the general community to have Jason Tisch speak to the importance of local historic landmarks. I think that would be very favorable just because he's able to cover the entire state historic preservation commissions. Okay.
Good point. Anything else, Peter?
No.
Okay.
Thank you.
I don't see anybody here. Anybody virtually who would like to speak on something not on the agenda? Does not appear so. So we will move on. Item 4, discussion on the 17th annual History and Historic Preservation Conference that was attended by Gene Hackbarth on October 18th through the 20th, 2023 in La Crosse. Presentation by Gene Hackbarth. Gene?
Thank you. And I also want to thank the entire commission for giving me the opportunity to attend and to represent De Pere at that state conference. There were over 350 people who attended. Very, very excellent program. Let me give you now some sense of a number of the programs that I attended, or the sessions that I attended. Joel Lonizak, who is the downtown design specialist for the Wisconsin Main Street program, gave a presentation on 10 ways to mess up your historic building. And it goes very briefly into a number of elements. Number 1 would be messing with windows. Number 2, stumbling with storefronts. And I just want to recall for you what the storefront of the Lee building looked like when it was the other business. Yes. That's one of the points that Joe was also making. Reckless replacements as well. So if a building is demolished, what type of facility would work out best in that area, be it downtown or within an historic district? Reckless replacements, that also refers to an opportunity that is just pushed very quickly without great deal of thought given to the location and the elements of the city surrounding it. And then energy deficiency. One of the important elements that Joe was talking about is that within historic buildings, it's often very, very easy to, within a limited budget, to update the facilities and all of the utilities as well. Water everywhere, especially in the downtown area where you've got sewers going in very close proximity to the buildings, to maintain a watch on any type of leakage that is coming in. Storefronts shall retain the original building facade relative to store and transom windows, entryways, and doors. Refrain from covering the facade with sheet metal, like I mentioned before, the Lee store. Window frame repairs and replacements should mirror the original facade. And I have worked with a number of people in the downtown area as well as residents relative to providing the opportunity to replace windows that are totally damaged, but they would fit, the new windows would fit within the confines of that space and have a similar appearance. Energy deficiency is often caused by installing false ceilings without repairing original ceilings, plus installation of poor heat and air conditioning units. Placing suffocating sealants on brick, especially on the exterior, that will cause brick deterioration. Bricks can easily deteriorate due to damage inappropriate to sealants and lack of maintenance. Inappropriate sealants are a major issue. If previously painted, it may be okay to repaint with the proper paints specifically made for bricks. The bricks need to breathe on the outside. And there are paints, there are sealants available these days that provide the bricks the opportunity to breathe. That's the name of the game. Provide timely maintenance of all building components, exterior and interior. That's true for whatever age the building would be. Then the next conference that I attended was Developing Community Historic Preservation Ethic. It was presented by Jason Flatt, Historic Preservation Specialist for the City of Green Bay, and Stephanie Hummel, Planner 2, City of Green Bay's Historic Preservation Planners. They discussed the recent surge in preservation planning activity in the City of Green Bay, from adopting a new ordinance, historic preservation ordinance, and becoming a certified local government, similar to De Pere being a certified local government. Jason also mentioned during his presentation that the city of Racine has an excellent historic preservation plan. It was used very readily by the city of Green Bay in putting there together the Green Bay HPP. Why create an historic preservation plan? Funding is available through the Wisconsin Historical Society to cover costs for the preservation plan if the community is a certified local government, as is De Pere. It will provide educational programs for various groups during the planning process. It will adopt a citywide comprehensive set of historic design guidelines, which De Pere already has. It will carry out the plan to achieve a similar result as a zoning ordinance, so it fits right in with the city government structure. Evaluate the implementation of the Historic Preservation Plan regularly and don't get discouraged. The next conference or session that I attended was the Rural Historic Properties and County Level Preservation Efforts presented by Vicki Twindy Havner, Chair of the Historic Sites Preservation Commission of La Crosse County. Rural historic properties outside of villages and cities are often overlooked, but are equally important. The chair of the La Crosse County Historic Sites Preservation Commission, the only county in Wisconsin currently certified as a certified local government, they discussed the activities of the county level preservation commissions and the importance of considering rural properties for historic designation. Local historic preservation commissions are encouraged to support historic surveys of rural areas with county staff. And it's extremely important for us living in this area to provide some of the input that we have gathered here as members of historic preservation in De Pere to county boards. The next session that I attended was History Happens Here. Wisconsin's new History Center leaders plan to open the state-of-the-art facility in Madison on Capitol Square in 2026. What does it take to create a statewide history center, and what can Wisconsin residents of local history communities at large expect to see next? The Wisconsin Historical Society leaders provided an informational session that explores all that it takes to create Wisconsin's History Center for the 21st century. I heard about the process the Society has undertaken to engage communities and stakeholders across Wisconsin. The work to design the facility, exhibits, and programming, and the keys to successfully execute the project. It was all gathered from people throughout the entire state of Wisconsin. The History Makers Tour will serve as an orientation to the Wisconsin Historical Society's facility in Madison, the new History Center. The History Makers Tour for this region, the northeast region of the state, including the entire Brown County area, will take place between August 26 and February 27 at a location in the vicinity that is to be announced before long. In collaboration with local history organizations, libraries, community groups, cultural venues, and other partners, the tour will bring history directly to local communities in every region of the state. Over the period of 6 months, each of Wisconsin's regions will serve as a museum without walls through pop-up exhibits, artifact displays, public programs, art installations, and other appropriate cultural activities. The last session that I attended was entitled Stewardship of Native American Collections: The Basics and Resources, Sensitivity, and collaboration by Kathy Stevenson, Jennifer Haas, and the coordinator for NAGPRA. The La Crosse Laboratory Center, staffed by Liz Leith and Jackie Poza, curator of anthropology and curator of UW-Madison Department of Anthropology. They were the presenters. The material culture holdings may seem daunting to organizations with limited resources that can be devoted to this work. This session brings together a panel of practitioners who present the overall guidelines for stewarding ancestors and items. They discussed how institutions can remain in compliance with the Native American Graves Protection and Repatriation Act, and how organizations can implement culturally appropriate care with tribal nation partnerships. Time will be reserved for participant questions and provide advice and resources. The State Historical Society now has on their staff a member of the Native communities in the state of Wisconsin who is making a strong effort to connect with each and every one of the local or the state tribes. Again, thanks for your attention. Thanks for the opportunity to attend and connect with historic preservation leaders from around the state. If you have any questions, I'm open to brief response.
I just wondered if there's any movement afoot for the county, Brown County, to start their own historic preservation or be certified, as you mentioned that they weren't.
Correct. The only county that is a certified local government right now is La Crosse in the state of Wisconsin. That would be a very good question to pose, and especially now since the city of Green Bay has their historic preservation plan and the guidance for that. Makes sense. I'm willing to connect with staff at the city of at Brown County if you're interested in me doing that.
Any other questions of Gene? Did they mention what they're going to do with the current Wisconsin Historical Society building? I used to spend a lot of time there studying it. When I went to UW-Madison, they have a really nice library area.
Right. I do not know. My understanding is it'll become part of the University of Wisconsin-Madison.
Oh, okay. Makes sense.
Okay. And everything, the library as well as all the antiques, all of the those items are going to be transferred over to the new facility by 2026.
Awesome. Well, thanks for attending all those sessions, Gene, and reporting back all this excellent information. So,
You're welcome.
all right. So, item 5 piggybacks nicely off of the last one. Consideration and possible action on HPC members attending the Wisconsin Association of Historic Preservation Commissions, WAHPC? WAHPC 2024 Spring Conference on April 25th through the 26th, 2024 in Mineral Point, Wisconsin. And then also it's noted that there's going to be a fall 2024 conference in Appleton. Peter, do you want to take this one?
It's just asking for those who are interested so that you're aware that you can register. Do note that you have a limited budget for both both conferences and any other sessions that you would attend during the year of $750 for registrations and $300 for travel. Just so you properly divide that if you were to use some for the second conference that comes in.
Sure.
Mineral Point is in the far southwest corner of the state.
Yeah.
So it will be a distance for travel.
Gene?
I just wanted to add that I attended virtually the last WAPAC meeting, board meeting, and there is strong consideration now for the attendees of the WAPAC conference to spend a few hours in Spring Green at Taliesin, working. It's a joint project that would be working WAPAC with the Wisconsin Trust for Historic Preservation. So, another advantage. I'm more than willing to go, very much so.
Any other commissioners interested in attending?
Not at that time, I can't.
Jane, do you have interest in attending?
Yeah, not this year I can't, but maybe in the future.
Okay. Yeah, with my work schedule during the day, it's usually hard for me to make these. I'm interested in maybe the fall one in Appleton, but not the spring one. But that's awesome that Gene's interested in attending. So then we have $750 for registration, meals, lodging for the whole year. Do you know what the registration fee is for the Mineral Point one, Peter?
I attempted to find flyers, and every time I look online and look at the information available, it simply tells me there's no information available.
I can point out that it will be $40 per person.
Okay. Great.
Okay.
Well, I would make a motion to authorize Gene to attend the Mineral Point WAPAC conference in spring 2024.
I'll second it.
Second.
Next time, Jane. Patrick just beat you on that one.
Sorry about that.
Thanks, though. Motion by me, seconded by Patrick to approve Gene attending the spring 2024 WAPAC conference. Any discussion on this? If not, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Aye.
Sorry, Jane.
Abstain.
All right. All voted aye except Gene is abstaining from the vote. So motion carries. Thank you. Item 6, consideration and possible action on HPC members, support staff, and Definitely De Pere staff attending the National Alliance of Preservation Commission's webinar titled Incorporating Art into Historic Districts on February 29th, 2024. So it does note in the memo the cost of registration is $15 a person. City staff is interested in attending, as well as Definitely De Pere staff. The cost would come out of the $750 budget for seminars and conferences this year. Peter, do you want to add anything about this?
Yeah, I sure can. When I did reach out to Tina and the staff at Definitely De Pere, and they expressed a very strong interest in this because, you know, that's just the line of work of what they do with our downtown. And so that's why I kind of thought, hey, this sounds like something that we might be more interested in than you are. For this particular topic. And this just might be a real easy way for us to express, as a Historic Preservation Commission, outreach into the community by simply allowing members and Definitely De Pere to sign up for this conference. With a little financial support from HPC.
I think it's a great idea. I know Definitely De Pere has been very mindful of trying to incorporate art and like murals and that, and still, you know, preserve the historic integrity of our downtown. So I think they've done a good job trying to balance that, and any additional information they can learn, I think, would be very valuable for them. Is anyone else on the commission interested in attending this webinar?
So, okay, I'm naive here. So
Yeah,
where's the webinar? Where is it?
So you would get a link.
Online.
Yeah, it's online. So that's,
Yep. And then, it looks like everyone would just attend virtually with
yeah,
the link.
I'd be interested.
Okay.
All you have to do basically is go to National Alliance of Preservation Commission. Okay. And then you would click on upcoming seminars and go from there.
Or I can just go to Definitely De Pere, which is my backyard. I can just go walk over
You
to
could.
Definitely De Pere. 'Cause I know
Yeah.
the people that are there. So yes, I would be interested in doing that.
Awesome.
What time of the day is that?
It is
It's during lunch.
12 o'clock to 1:30
Yeah.
on February 29th.
Jane, interested?
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, I might be, I think I'm working that day, but I'll check it out.
Okay.
Do you know
Peter?
the day of the week?
And then just for your information, Jane.
It's a
and Pat-
Thursday.
Okay, thanks, Jane.
February 29th.
Sorry about that. Sorry to interrupt you. Patrick and Jane, just so that you are aware, when you do sign up, just simply pay for the conference. I can then show you where you get a reimbursement
Okay.
form. And then for that or any other expenses that you have related to sessions like this, we will gladly get you your $15 back.
Okay.
But it's a little bit easier for you just to register.
Correct.
And then ask to be reimbursed.
Okay. Thank you.
And
Gene?
I'm not able to attend. However, I can speak very highly of NAPAC. I attended one of their seminars in Madison 2 years ago, and it's just excellent. The people that they are able to bring in as presenters, as well as the topics that are very much in vogue in communities around the nation. They're there.
Yep. Awesome. How specific of a motion do we need, Peter? Because like Jane's still deciding, and
Just identify, just allowing up to X number of
Okay.
registrations. So just so I don't go hog wild and register 2,000 people in downtown De Pere, you just say,
Two.
up to a certain amount or a certain number of people registering, and that way I'll make sure I keep us in line with our budget.
how many city staff and Definitely De Pere staff would like to attend?
I'm thinking it mostly would be myself and Kelly. And if we were to attend, we likely would sit at the same computer, or that's mostly at most going to cost us $30.
Oh,
At Definitely De Pere, my assumption is they will all sit at one computer, so that will be 15 there. So
Okay.
that would be 45 plus the 2 that have expressed interest here. We're talking under $100.
All right. I'll make a motion to approve HPC commission members, support staff, and Definitely De Pere staff to attend this NAPC webinar not to exceed $100.
I'll second that.
All right, motion by me, seconded by Gene. Any questions or comments? All right, if not, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Jane?
Aye, sorry.
Okay, that's
Didn't
okay.
have my microphone on.
Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. Item 7, consideration and possible action about 10 projects that each HPC member expressed an interest in completing in 2024 and the potential redistribution of members into balanced groups for each project. So after the last meeting, Peter sent out a survey to us asking what projects we might be interested in working on this year. If we go to packet page 24, we can see breakdown of what HPC members are interested. And then, yeah, the 10 projects are ones that we've talked about at the last meeting. Peter, do you want to add some more on that?
Just so you understand the color coding, the color code system on this is kind of breaking down the projects that actually have a known timeline or a known start time. The green is kind of the first quarter of the year, first 3 months of the year. Second quarter being the blue, third quarter being kind of the orange, the yellowish color, and then the brownish orange is the fourth quarter. Those that are in gray at the bottom have no designated timeline for them yet, or an identification that is a project we're actually going to do. So they're just simply shaded in gray until we do assign a timeline window for them. One thing we do want to do is make sure that when we do establish a specific point in time, kind of spread it out across the year so that we don't overwhelm myself and Kelly in trying to keep up with you as your staff support.
And Patrick and Jane, were there any projects on here that you were specifically interested in?
Yes, and I talked to Peter beforehand. If we could I sign up right now, Peter?
You certainly can, because part of tonight is reallocation of names if we feel there are too many or too few.
How about number 2, the educational program number 1 with Mark?
Okay.
So I'd like that. Number 7, the prepared proposed national and state designation candidates.
Yeah, that would be good.
Jane, are you interested before I take another one? Or
Yeah. Well, I was looking at education as well, but there's a couple on there.
You could have that one, Jane.
Oh, okay, great.
That number 2
Sure, the number
Okay.
2.
with Jean then.
Yep.
Okay.
And is there another one that you want me to do?
Let's see.
John, number. not the
We
number-
could do the ARPA signs. I'm the only one currently on that one. Otherwise, there's also completing
Yeah, I
the.
could do the ARPA sign.
Okay. Thanks, Jane. Peter.
This is a suggestion to Jane, if you're trying to find one that might be interesting. The targeting of 6 national, state, and local designation properties is a really interesting one to really learn about the historic properties that we have and the potential for properties that we have. So, Jane, that might be one where you can really learn about the projects that we already have or that we are interested in. If you are looking for another one.
Sure, you could put me on that one. It's June and July of this year.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and Peter already has 4 properties that have, 3 properties and then a block that have expressed interest, at least some form of interest, on either national, state, local, or some combination of those 3. So we have kind of a good lead on some properties for that. And we've had success in the past years, at least getting 1 or 2. So.
Okay, you can put me down for that.
Okay. Thanks, Jane. Any other projects that people are interested in? Otherwise, I think we have a pretty good distribution now. So.
Gene, you're okay to go alone on those 2 that you have?
Yes.
Okay, that's what I figured. Yeah.
I've experienced doing
That's what
this.
yeah.
I just need, I just need input from the commission as to which properties we would want to submit
Gotcha.
for funding.
Yeah, we're very lucky to have Gene to submit those applications. Like last year, kind of last minute, you did the 107 North Broadway application just before the deadline. So that was great.
Jonathan, number 10, I could do that with you too if you want. Or
Which one is that?
that's the ARPA.
Oh, yeah, that would be great.
Is that okay?
Yep, and that one, we do have a firm deadline of the end of this year that we have to get it done, just because the ARPA funds have to be used by the end of 2024 or we lose them.
Okay.
So,
Good.
yep. Awesome. All right, well, I think we got a good plan here. And then Peter, some of these like 5 through 10 at the April meeting, we planning to kind of flesh out the timeline then a little bit more for those, or?
I'm looking to you for that.
Okay.
Because first I need to know that you actually want to do this many projects. Do keep in mind last year, what did we have? We had we had 8 or 9 projects, and we only got about 6 or 7 of them done. So that's why I want to make sure that we purposely gave ourselves more projects than we needed, so that we can cut one out if we need to.
Yep. The historic district sign distribution, instructions, and installation, that was a carryover from last year. We did previously discuss doing that in the spring, so we can work on that one coming up here in another couple months. Oh, there they are. Peter's got a sample there.
Yeah.
Peter.
You're going to hate me as I walk closer to you because these do not smell the greatest.
Yeah, let them air out.
Office because they smell so terrible.
Oh my God, really?
Ooh.
I don't want. Do I want to touch them?
Yeah, you can touch them. They're
Very
nice and
nice.
sturdy.
Yeah.
They're very nice, very
they
nice and
just have
sturdy.
a printed smell.
Okay. Oh, it's that.
No, I don't think it's
coating.
bad. Yeah, that's the coating, yeah.
That's pretty cool.
I think these turned out nice.
They look really nice.
Yeah, and so we have 3 boxes of them, so that's why it will be a good idea to find a way to get them to people's
Yep.
houses.
Just a quick question. Is this the way they would be fastened on the houses?
Yes.
Okay. Okay. Well, that's very simple,
Very simple, yes.
really.
Yeah, the intent was for it to be that way so that it
Yeah.
actually can be removed. It will take some cleaner to take off the stickiness.
The
It's not,
residue.
it's not like a
Right.
3 Christmas decoration that we put every wall. It will take some effort to remove it, but it does have the capability of being removed. That's why
Excellent.
I think when we started the project, we felt that was a better idea than using screws or glue that is
Oh, yeah.
a more permanent that will just rip it into
For
the
sure.
wall.
Yep.
Very good.
I like it.
Awesome.
And in case you didn't know, these actually are 2 different. Although they say the exact same thing.
That's true. Yeah, there's some that were like that. And there should not be any typos because we checked that, 4 or 5 times? Poor Peter, we kept on sending back more edits. Preparing proposed national and state designation candidates, that's something that we can kind of, I think, do later in the year as well. Same with local designation. Once we kind of know, so that kind of ties into the target, the 6 properties, and then based on who might be interested. The only other one to kind of flag right now, submitting WHS preliminary assessments for property owners. This is something that Mark and I are attached to. This would be new for the HPC. We've never done this before. So typically, if we have 2 or 3 actually property owners, 614 George Street, 922 White Pine Ave, and 710 Wabanakwa Trail, that are interested in being on the National and State Register, but we've never really surveyed those properties extensively. We did surveys throughout the city in 2001 and 2017, but those 3 properties were not really researched at all. So in the past, we've told those property owners, you can fill out this application, submit it to the Wisconsin Historical Society. They'll come back with a recommendation on if you're potentially eligible. And that's a lot of legwork for the property owners. It can be overwhelming. So what we're looking to do this year is to assist those properties with getting that request over to the Wisconsin Historical Society.
Sub-grant.
Sub-grant, yep.
Makes sense.
So some of these kind of tie into each other too. So, yeah, Gene?
And we have a history of doing that with individual property owners over the years.
Okay, great. All right.
Okay.
And then in April, we can also get status updates on all of these, especially since the June meeting is going to be primarily the presentation from Jason Tisch. So, and then, with the subgroups, what we've done in the past is, each subgroup is kind of on their own to figure out a schedule that works for them, when they want to meet, if they want to meet in person or virtually, how often. So you would just be in contact with the other subgroup members to try to schedule some time to work on these projects. And then Peter, would you be able to send out a updated list here with all the revisions?
Yes, I can. I don't have the dates.
Oh, right, yeah. So do you want, I think we could try to take a stab at pinning down some of these dates. Gene?
I was going to suggest that the last one, the ARPA-funded historic district signage, okay, you mentioned that has to be completed by the end of the year.
Right.
Okay, I think we need to point that out
Yep.
in this timeframe.
Mm-hmm. I agree. Mm-hmm. So for that one, I think we should do maybe March through October.
Okay.
Because we want to get, I mean, I guess they don't technically have to be installed this year. They have to be printed, but it'd be ideal to get them maybe installed this fall.
Sure.
The historic sign distribution, I think we should target March through May or June. We'll just say March through June.
Sure.
Then submitting WHS preliminary assessments for property owners. I think we need to give ourselves extra time for that one since it is something that we haven't done in a while. Thoughts on that one? Maybe like March to, I would even say maybe December. Can we have that long of a timeline, Peter?
You can have as long of a timeline as you need. Just remember that if everything is going to start in March, I'm not going to be available for all projects because I have a lot.
You're right.
I have a
That's a
lot
good
happening
point.
in March, April. Because I have a housing study that I'm wrapping up
Yeah.
by April, and May.
That one we could probably do July through December. I don't think it's as time sensitive. I know the property owners are interested in getting the ball rolling on it, but I think that would be a good project for the second half of the year. Oh, I'm sorry. Submitting WHS preliminary assessments for property owners. And then the last two, preparing proposed national and state designation candidates, preparing local designation candidate applications. I think that's traditionally done later in the year, but I'll let Peter and Jean maybe comment on that.
Yeah. The sooner, the better. Okay, because there has to be a letter of interest that is sent to the Historical Society. I believe it's in April, by the end of April. And then following that, if we get a positive response from the State Historical Society, it amounts to putting together the actual plan to submit.
So the targeting the 6 properties, that's June and July. So how does that tie into it if April is when we kind of have to give them an initial notice?
Gene, are you sure that's not October that we do the letter of intent?
That would be for 2026.
Yes.
Or 25 or
I'm sorry, 25.
25? Yep.
Or 25.
Okay.
Yeah, the time frame for 2024 we're already past.
Right.
Yeah, we have a grant for 2024 through 2025 that we're waiting to hear if it was approved.
That's true.
So yeah, so the next we would be applying for would be a project that would finish in 26.
So maybe like June to November for those two?
And I think that's where part of what Gene was mentioning. If you look at the yellow stripe, there is that 2025 CLG grant letter of intent and application between August and December. That's where I believe the letter of intent comes in like October, and then the actual application is submitted in December.
December, right.
Okay. Now the local designation, though, that's kind of on a separate timeline.
That's on a timeline that can be all by itself.
Okay.
If you wanted to sequence it with the targeting of your 6 properties, you would target it to come after that June, July.
Okay. All right. So preparing proposed national and state designation candidates, we can do November to December. And then preparing local designation candidate applications, probably do like August through October.
Okay.
I'm afraid that your November through December is going to miss the target for the letter of intent in October.
Oh, I'm sorry.
You might want to, that one.
October through
You might want to
December.
do like an August through September.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, that goes before that. So August through September for the preparing proposed national and state designation candidates.
Yeah, and that would then give Gene plenty of time for
Yep.
knowing what is actually going to be part of, what is or is not going to be part of a letter of intent.
Okay.
It's good.
You have all that, Kelly?
I think so. Yeah.
No worries, Kelly, I have it written down in our book. We will have to reprint a page.
Does the HPC want Peter or Kelly to read it all back, or are we kind of good with where we're at? Good.
I'm good with where.
All right. Then I would entertain a motion.
I move that,
So move.
go ahead. I will second the motion to update this HPC member projects based on discussions that we have just had.
Okay. Motion by Mark, seconded by Gene. Mark, you're okay with the elaboration from Gene? Okay. To update the HPC member project sheet per the discussions that we've just had. Any other discussion? If not, all those in favor say aye.
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 Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. And lastly, item 8, discussion about 2 additions, houses, to the State and National Registries, and 1 removal, a former school, from the State and National Registries. We have 2 residential homes, 1336 Ridgeway Boulevard and 815 Nicolay Ave, that were added to both the State and National Registries, so that's great news. And we appreciate the property owners' willingness to move forward with those designations. And then the old Nicolay High School, or Abbott Pennings High School, was removed after it was raised back in November, December. I did get into the former Nicolay School, took extensive photos, both of the inside and the outside, shortly before it was raised. So those photos have been forwarded to city staff for our archives, and have also been shared with the Wisconsin Historical Society and the De Pere Historical Society. And I know there were some other people too who were kind of doing their own documenting of it as well. So it was well documented before it got raised. And that site is now going to be the future home of the Schneider School of Business for St. Norbert College. Peter, do you have additional updates on this? And then I'll go to Gene.
I do not.
No, Gene?
Just wanted to point out that St. Norbert College, in conjunction with the new building, is going to be using some of the artifacts that are currently on,
Yes.
that were on the outside of the building, which is a real plus.
It is, yes. Yeah, I did talk to one of the project managers, and they assured us that the owls and the children with the books, those were going to be preserved and will be incorporated in the new building. So that's great news, yeah. All right. So I would make a motion to receive this update and place it on file.
This is a discussion item. You don't need to take action.
Okay. Yep, good catch. Any other questions or discussions about these properties? Yep, Gene?
Just one quick question. Was there an official notice that was sent or presented to those property owners whose houses were listed on state and national registers in 2023? Did something come from the city to them?
No, letters were sent out by Wisconsin Historical Society.
Okay, all right. I just want to
Yeah.
point out that I know the parties in both houses, and so I spoke to them personally about that once it was officially from the State Historical Society.
And that's something maybe you and I, as chair and vice chair, could maybe send a letter of thanks as well. So.
Sure.
And Peter, those 2 properties they don't automatically get any kind of a plaque, right? That's something we would have to initiate like we did with the neighborhoods that we've been working on.
You are correct. An automatic system of sending plaques was not established as part of our 2023 project. You would do that as part of your 2024 project.
So,
Sure.
something we'll work on in the future. Jane, do you have anything?
Nope, I'm just taking it all in.
Awesome. Okay. A lot to take in, but all right. Well, if nothing else on that, we will move on to adjournment. I'd entertain a motion.
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
I'll second that.
Motion by Patrick, seconded by Gene to adjourn the meeting. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed?
Aye.
Sorry, Jane. Yep, motion carries. We are adjourned.